Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu Merfolk Master, and we are here with day 97 of Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where we're going to talk magic. Oh, yeah, you brewed up the coffee. Step one, brew the coffee. Step two, let's start brewing the magic, because there are going to be brews on this channel. Oh, absolutely. Because not only do we do Q&A where we talk about all things Magic the Gathering, we also do deck list reviews. So if you have a deck then you need to be taken to the next level, fix the mana base, fix the win condition, how to adjust it to the current metagame, brew that thing up, and we, both myself and the community, will give feedback. So let's enjoy another day of Coffee and MTG. Wherever you are in the world, it's always a great time. Morning, afternoon, or evening, brew up a cup of magic and let's have some fun. And of course, we have our morning crowd. Panch Hernandez, Lord Magicus. I'm surprised you're awake. I think you're like an all-nighter sort of person. Hot Chocolate, good morning. And yeah, so we've got like all the Zendikar cards are out. They're about to be, I think, are they going to be legal today on Magic the Gathering Online? And by today, I mean Wednesday. When are pre-releases for this thing? Some details I do not know about. I did drink a bottle of wine on the podcast last night. All right. Alcohol puts some people to sleep. Sometimes it keeps people up, or it gives you short sleeps. Good morning, Balada. So as we get into this, I'm going to go into the proper talk, or the proper category. Good morning, Mikey J. Good morning, Tempo Mage. So, well, I don't know. For me personally, oh, Balada just cheered 8 bits. Thank you very much, Balada. Thanks for the coffee tip. Hold on a second. Pre-release is delayed. Oh, to 2024. Well, I think there's going to be some sort of pre-release sort of events, like even online. Well, online, I mean, the cards are just there, and then boom, go for it. Good morning, David. I just felt like I got a good grasp of Modern, and now all of a sudden it's getting shaken up. We saw my results recently. I made 2 top finishes in Modern challenges, got a 5-0, and same thing with a lot of other Merfolk players with their Lurrus builds and some mono blue build. A lot of Lurrus builds actually doing very well, so I really have nothing against the Lurrus versions of the deck. But now the metagame is about to change. And what are the biggest change? And there are some cards like Confounding Conundrum and that Wildfire card. I mean, let's get Conundrum. We have no idea what this is going to do to the metagame. Like I said, like this might do a lot. Maybe it'll do nothing. Because the upside is there. Everyone can see the upside, but not everyone understands the downside. Like 2 lands need to enter the battlefield on the same turn. So like, what if you have no land drop for the turn? Now Confounding Conundrum doesn't do nearly as much. But we'll see how this one shakes out, and could be played by multiple different decks. This could be played in a control deck. It could be played by Grixis Shadow. Could be played by the 4-color Shadow deck. Could be, I mean, in theory, Merfolk could play it. I won't play it, though. I hope it's going to be good for us in that, like, it's not that impactful against Merfolk decks. I mean, we are not putting extra lands onto the battlefield very often. And we have Ether Vial, so it's not, like, even... Okay, bounce our lands to our hand. Big deal. We really don't care. I don't think it's wise to be play paper MTG as tempting as it might be. But there was, I can't remember how, I don't remember the program, but they let you buy the pre-release kits, and then you had your own pre-release with your friends. You had like a 3 to 4 player pre-release at home. I can't remember what they did. Like, it doesn't have to be like a public pre-release. And what I'm really implying is, like, when do we get access to the cards in physical paper is really what I'm getting to. So we have Confounding Conundrum is a potential one. What's the something Wildfire? Cleansing Wildfire also could be a really big game changer. If this card is as good as it might seem, then like the Tron decks are in so much trouble. Like so much trouble. They're going to absolutely hate the existence of this card. Not to mention red is such an easy, like it's a color that's very easy to splash. so like, you know, between Burn and Prowess and like blue red decks, and we even have Teamer right now. So there's like Jund, again, Grixis Stats Shadow. There's going to be a lot of archetypes that can very easily splash this card. Not that hard to get online. And yes, Confounding Conundrum makes fetch lands worse in some cases. Correct. I think Deathrite Shaman should be unbanned in Legacy. You know what? I sort of agree with you. Here's my only like, maybe Deathrite Shaman deserves to be banned anyway. But Deathrite Shaman got banned at the exact same time as Gitaxian Probe. And I think the real menace in Legacy, at least at the time, was Gitaxian Probe. I think that was the card that needed to get banned. Personally, when I'm up against a Delver deck, the fact that they can probe me, now they know exactly what's in my hand. They can like brainstorm or ponder precisely for the right cards. And like, especially with brainstorm, you can put away the garbage that doesn't interact with your hand. Whereas if you brainstorm in the dark, that's a completely different story. Now you don't know exactly what cards are good or what cards are bad because you don't actually know what's in my hand. So they banned both of these cards at once. And I would have liked to have seen what Legacy would have been like without Gitaxian Probe, but with Deathrite Shaman. They cut them both out at the same time. Banning Deathrite Shaman led to one of the best metas in Legacy ever. Too much good color fixing like Deathrite Shaman or Astrolabe is what fucks up the format. I can agree when it gets to... Deathrite Shaman was more fun when I was using it in Bug Delver. When you go... Once the cards... I mean, I will agree. When, like I said, we said this yesterday. If a deck goes to 4 colors without punishment... I agree, it's a problem. I think we're all fine with having 3 color decks, no punishment. But once you go to 4 colors and you're still not clunky or getting punished, it's a problem. Mikey J100, Tron is like life. It always finds a way to screw things up for others. And Tron has just been around for forever. It's been amazing. You know what? Honestly, there has been a lot of Tron hate for Tron for a very long time, and it's held up. It's held up really well. And if anything, there has been big changes to benefit Tron because they banned Splinter Twin, and that was a buy for Splinter Twin. Oh, at your upkeep, tap down one of your lands. Now you don't have access to nearly as much mana. Oh, now I'm going to combo off against you. Oh, and I can do all of this at flash speed. So, I mean, you can... Like, anyway, so it was very good for the Twin player. You could, at end of turn, tap their Oblivion Stone and they have to crack it, and if they don't, then again they're at risk of getting comboed off. So Tron is incredibly resilient archetype, and I guess like even another innovation to the deck was going to Eldrazi Tron, right? That was the next level. Although it seems like they're going backwards. I'm seeing way more Tron now than Eldrazi Tron at this moment. Right now there's just way more Tron in the metagame. Not even close. So yeah, Tron does find a way. Tron is very, very incredible. Exciting to get a Thieving Skydiver extended art. I didn't even know there was one. Oh, yes. I guess we can call this extended. Yeah, I guess that's the correct name. Extended art, not full art, where it peeks around the left and the right of the border. Correct. When you said extended art, somehow I just snap thought full art. So as more people start to arrive, I'm going to thank my sponsors, themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Manabase is sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store, and you can get 15% off all gaming accessories at Fusion Gaming Online: deck boxes, sleeves, dice, and more, and deck binders. So you remember Canadian prices at Fusion Gaming Online, so don't think that they're overpriced and they created a sale. Like, I've seen some really weird reviews for Fusion Gaming. Oh, they overprice everything and then give a discount. It's not really a discount. No, they're all in Canadian prices. And also, we're going to thank Mana Traders. Mana Traders is the premier place to rent Magic cards online to help you play any deck in any format anytime you want. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can get 20% off your first 3 months by using my coupon code Nikachu. And don't forget, like, the Mana Trader series is going on right now. It's free for anyone to enter. The modern, and it's modern. The format is modern. But if you're a Mana Traders user, you get 10 times the prizes if you make prizes. Just a heads up. For more information, go check out manatraders.com. And remember, if you're new to Coffee and MTG, we do this Mondays to Fridays. Where's my Monday to Friday? Mondays to Fridays, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. We do it at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. And if you want your questions and comments highlighted, don't forget to give me the 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question, or at Nikachu MTG helps me find your questions in the sea of all the comments. It's time for beer and MTG. Hi from Denmark. Hello, JKN. David says, this may be dumb, but I feel Deathrite Shaman is safer in Modern because there is no force of will to protect it. Truth be told, I think Force of Negation is doing a pretty good job. Truth be told, I think Force of Negation is doing a pretty good job in Modern. We don't have Force of Will, but the good thing about Force of Negation is it can only be used against, for the most part, unfair stuff, because people are doing unfair stuff on their turn. Whereas Force of Will hurts all decks. Hurts unfair decks, but it can also hurt fair decks. So you can just get your like regular creature countered, which is not necessarily just as fun. So I do think we do have I think Force Negation does a pretty good job, hence why the price is relatively high, and also hence why Neoform is getting crushed so much. If there was no Force Negation in this format, it's interesting that Neoform becomes an archetype at the exact same time that Force of Negation basically becomes part of Modern. It's just excellently timed. If there was like a 6-month window of these two archetypes, Neoform, the Neo brand deck would be banned. Now, I do think, however, I still don't think Deathrite Shaman is safe for Modern, but we probably could use this card more for Modern than any card right now. Like, to deal with like the ridiculous Dredge deck, to deal with Uro. A lot of the graveyard cards would be instantly neutered because of Deathrite Shaman. People would not be using their the only deck using the graveyard as a resource would be the Deathrite Shaman decks. What card would make Merfolk meta? You mean like what card would make Merfolk good? I don't understand this question. Yeah, I need some clarification. But I have mentioned many times we need a good, powerful Merfolk 1-drop. Oh, top tier. Yeah, we just need a good 1-drop hot chocolate. That's it. We just need a good, powerful 1-drop. I mean, when I mean powerful, I mean it's like a big creature, and it can become a big creature, and it can help kill our opponent by turn 4. Or it's incredibly interactive. Like, you give me a Curse Catcher that is a Spell Pierce. That would not be too bad. Give me a Curse Catcher that can counter artifacts, planeswalkers, enchantments. I could deal with that. I could buy something like that, something that was incredibly interactive, because Curse Catcher doesn't hit enough non-creature spells, and the tax is only 1. It's too cheap. It's too cheap these days for Modern. The Great. We'll just call you the Great. Can I join the Mana Traders tournament now? I thought it started. It did start. So what there is there's like a 2-week period where you need to grind to a like 70% win percentage within 10 games, or a 66 win percentage within 30 games. or I don't know the specifics. And then after that 2 week period, if you qualify, you get to play in their big Swiss tournament for the prizes. So right now is qualification time. So get logged on Magic the Gathering Online and get qualified. You can also find the details at manatraders.com. Can we get another 5-0 today, please? I hope so. I was really looking forward to playing today, but I heard there's going to be downtime. When does the downtime start? Like, I might have to cancel my stream today. I don't like the idea of the downtime. The downtime, I think it's starting in like an hour or something. It's very, very unfortunate. In an hour, it starts in an hour and a half, and then we have to wait like 3 hours. Or I might have like my stream might be delayed until, I don't know, like 5 hours from now or something. Because I don't really feel like playing Arena today. I do want to play Magic the Gathering Online. Yeah, I love that people describe the cards Merfolk needs as cards that humans already have. Wizards of the Coast hates us. And they printed like just a bunch of really rubbish Merfolk recently. There's like a lot of ways they can help us, but like strictly speaking, we do need a good 1-drop, and there's no way around it. And all the good aggro decks have good 1-drops. We just don't. With the exception of maybe Eldrazi Tron, but we all know that they don't even care about like a good 1-drop. They're more of a mid-range deck anyway. Yeah, bad day for Arena. It's Zendikar 3 early access event. Yeah, we've gone back to Zendikar 3 times now. This is ridiculous. Do we really care that much about Zendikar? Or, I mean, I got a little excited by Zendikar because, ooh, maybe we'll get a new land. I mean, I love lands. I love lands that do things. I'm a huge fan of that. I don't know. How does everyone feel about Zendikar? You got excited when you heard Zendikar again? I mean, the only other thing that got me excited about Zendikar is that there are merfolk on that plane. So there was a chance. There was a chance that we could get something good out of that set. And we got like a situational cyborg card with Skydiver. I wish Frilled Mystic was a merfolk would be good in the Simic list. Maybe. Maybe. Hard to tell. 4 mana in a... Well, I mean, we could play a 22 land deck in Modern. We could. And it would help. I wouldn't mind having a counterspell attached to a creature, even as a 2-of. It would be plenty good. Whoop that, Nick. Hey, never catch you live and caught the merfolk bug. I hope that's a good bug. I've never heard of merfolk being used like that. Good morning, Niels Nielsen. Good morning, Dire Wolf. Will there ever be a return to Alara, Lorwyn, or Kamigawa? You know what? I think because I've seen polls. They poll, like the Wizards staff polls people on a regular basis on Twitter. I think there's a very low chance we go back to Kamigawa. I think Khans of Tarkir was Wizards' way of going back to Kamigawa without actually going back to Kamigawa. And then the same thing like when they went to Dominaria, because Dominaria was like a legend set, and that's exactly what Kamigawa was as well. So I get the impression that we are not going back to Kamigawa. Kamigawa is done for. Lorwyn, I think, has a very high chance. I think Lorwyn has a very high chance of us going back, and I think that has seen a lot of support on Twitter. Alara, I have no idea. I have no opinions about Alara. I mean, I would want to go back to Lorwyn. There are merfolk there. There's a lot of shitty merfolk on Lorwyn. Maybe I'll have to double think. I'll have to think twice about going back to Lorwyn. But there's a chance. There's a chance they'll give us something good. The sad thing is there's a chance they'll give something else good, some other tribe something good. I want my Kitkin tribal. We all want something, don't we? Monster CC, are any of the spell lands making it into fish? Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know if they will be. Well, I mean, the number one is the what's it called? The mirror. This is not right. This name is not right. Oh, is it mirror pool? Something pool? Glass Pool Shores. This card is hands down the most likely card that is going to get adopted by Merfolk, and I really like it. I really like it because it's a clone. So here's the thing about Merfolk: you need a certain density of lords to be able to push through enough power, and I do consider clones a pseudo lord, like things like Phantasmal Image, but Phantasmal Image is in such bad shape in the metagame right now. Be given Lava Dart and Walking Ballista. But to have a lord in the slot of one of the lands is phenomenal. It's great. And great art, too. Fantastic art. I can't wait to play with this. So if there's one card that I would like to experiment with when it gets released, it's Glasspool Mimic. Now, the downside to this card is it's very clear that the Lurrus version of Merfolk has serious game. Like, very serious game. Like Lurrus. We're seeing a lot of Lurrus decks getting published with Merfolk, just going blue-white, and and you can take the white even further. Like Lord Magicus got a 4-0 with Path to Exile and Burnton Forge Tender. So you can't play this in addition to Lurrus. So now we're gonna have these two versions like conflicting with each other, and it's now gonna like if Lurrus didn't exist, this is a slam dunk include. But now it's gonna be difficult to tell. Did I not say 5-0? Whatever, 5-0. Got a list published. It's not clear that this is a slam dunk include if the Lurrus deck is just better. And you can't play. Oh, I said 4-0? Sorry about that. So it's not clear that Glasspool Mimic is actually going to be will be a better version than Lurrus. Because Lurrus is difficult to put down. I mean, it's a free card from the sideboard, and it helps you find free cards from the graveyard. That's a 2 for 0. It's that's a good value. It's very good value. Wizards of the Coast, when a designer comes up with a good Merfolk during early development. Yes. Yep, shapeshifters can now be lands. It's correct. They can be anything. They come in all forms. But anyway, that's the Glasspool Mimic is hands down the most likely card that's going to be jammed in our deck. Just received 2 Cavernous Souls to complete my playset. Simic Fish for the win. Yes, get your Cavernous Souls. Poor Cavernous Souls is moving up more and more in price. Well, one thing that helps is goblins. Remember how we were all scared of goblins like 2 to 3 months ago? Where's goblins now? They're just completely dead. And I think they're dead because of the prowess decks. They just completely crush them. Lava Dart's just too strong. What am I looking up? Cavern of Souls. Oh. So, Goblin. So here's the history of Cavern of Souls, and in general, it's pretty expensive. I mean, I think this is where humans became a thing, or I can't remember. No, maybe not here, but eventually, humans becomes a thing, and then Cavern of Souls goes down, and humans. Okay, no, humans became a thing. Had to have been earlier. This was at the peak of humans, and then it started falling, and then Cavern of Souls was the best point here at $50. And I made my video I said when Goblins was clearly going to become a deck, you got to get your Cavern of Souls. And then Goblins was a deck, and it was very strong. And then whoop, went straight to the sky. But now Prowess has just completely kicked Goblins' ass. It's just crushed it. I mean, my next top 10 modern decks to beat isn't even going to include Goblins. I haven't seen Goblins for for like a month. So anyway, like Cavernous Souls is now crashing, and but anyway, like as it's going down, I think that would be a good opportunity to pick up the Cavernous Souls. Cavernous Souls, important staple. Like, and for Simic, I think it's pretty important because it's just it's a multicolor land. Okay, Cavernous Souls, I would say for Merfolk right now, very, very important. Very, very important. It's a multicolor land. You don't take any damage from it, and contributes to most of my free wins right now. If I'm up against like an Uro deck and I got Cavernous Souls, I can win games off just Cavernous Souls. Oh, you can't Mana Leak or Cryptic Command my creatures? Well, that's too bad. Attack, 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 and you're dead. Though, like, there are games where I just play creatures and my opponent's doing nothing. They're just doing nothing. They play lands past the turn. It's because they have counter spells. They just had a hand of counter spells and they couldn't do anything about it. So yeah, Cavernous Souls, probably the card that contributes to most of my free wins right now with Simic Merfolk. The only card I need for Cavernous Souls for all my legacy decks. Yeah, I bought 3 Caverns not too long ago, but I play a full set online now as well. Hope it becomes cheaper soon. It does need... it's getting like a crappy reprint in Zendikar Rising, like it's a masterpiece. Good morning, Spider Space. Any interesting stuff in coming up for Death and Taxes in Zendikar Rising? El Rodeo said, I bought them when you said that, and I got them fairly cheap. Yes, I also bought them when I said that, and I also got them fairly cheap. Although, I only have 3. Big sad face. I need to get 1 more. I have found main deck Lurrus to be better in my sack decks. 3 mana tax is just too slow. The 3 mana tax is slow for a lot of decks. So, I mean, like, as we see, Jund is playing with main deck Lurrus. So, like, it's all good. It's all good. Good morning, Moldy Ace. Hope your day is going well. Yes, it's going well. It's going okay so far, but unfortunately, soon it's going to be that Wizards of the Coast downtime. That's going to be nasty, nasty downtime. 4 is definitely better lately because even control decks utilize Field of Ruin. That's true. And also, like, if they blow up your Cavern of Souls, now they're not blowing up your Mutavaults, so that's good. Should Wizards of the Coast print Portent for Modern Horizons 2 to help out control decks in Modern? Why does Control need more help? Okay, well, let's answer the question first. Should they print Portent to help the control decks? Because the control decks, they need help. You hear that? The control players are fucking starving for cards. They haven't been printed anything in years. Years, I tell ya. Portent, it's like a delayed ponder. 1 blue, look at the top 3 cards of target player's library, then put them back in any order. You may have that player shuffle their library, then draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's actually in some ways better than ponder if you're playing with Terminus, because what you can do is you can stack Terminus on top of your deck or some sort of miracle card. Pass the turn, then you draw a card on your opponent's turn, and that's the first card you draw for the turn, and you can activate the miracle trigger. Laugh my ass off. Control needs help ASAP. Okay, let's do the fucking roll call here about what Control has received in the last, like, 3 years. They've received Teferi, Time Reveler. Oops. Okay, they've received Teferi, Time Reveler. They've received Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. They've received... They unbanned Ancestral Visions. Where's his Ancestral Vision? They unbanned Ancestral Vision. Unbanned it. They unbanned... What's it called? Jace the Mind Sculptor. They unbanned Jace the Mind Sculptor. They printed fucking Uro. Oh, I always remember every single time Uro Titan. They gave them Uro, which is still being used in basically every control deck right now. What else did they print? What else did they get? They gave Control so many cards. I mean, they unbanned Stoneforge Mystic. You could debate that this is not pure control, that's fine. But a lot of control-less shells use Stoneforge Mystic. What else? What other fucking haymakers have they been printing for control lately? Dovin's Veto. They printed fucking... Oh, that's a good one. How could we... Okay, so they've printed Dovin's Veto, Uncounterable Negate. They gave them Mystic Sanctuary in contention for being banned in Modern. Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon, uncounterable creature that draws a card. Uncounterable. Plays at end of turn. Scales with your mana, by the way. So later this goes into the game. Force of Negation. Now they have an answer to fucking anything. So even if you have plays on the earlier turns of the game, it doesn't matter. Archmage's Charm. Archmage's Charm is a fantastic, versatile card. Not played in every control deck, but definitely is good. Grabs 1-drops, card advantage. Some versions might play Veil of Summer. What else? This is not the end of the fucking list here, people. This is not the end of the list. You know, now there was a time that control players were crying out like crazy. Well, there was Oko. That got banned. But there's a lot of cards with Oko in their name. They had Oko, but this got banned. They got Opt. Actually, do you know what they got Opt? Opt was important. What the hell? Opt was important because that ended up being an upgrade to Serum Visions. They replaced it. So that actually was a huge upgrade. Astrolabe, but that got banned. They got Astrolabe, but that it did get banned. So Opt was a big upgrade. Like, you look at the control deck today, it's like nothing what it used to be. It's not even close. Yeah, I talked about Stoneforge Mystic. Where's Stoneforge? It was one of my first ones. So I mean, look at all the cards we just went through. Okay, we went through. So fuck the Portent. We don't need Portent. Well, search for his Mike the Mailman. That's a good point. Mike search for his Kanta, but they don't even play it anymore because they have so many better cards. Teferi, Time Reveler, Teferi Hero of Teferi Time Reveler, Teferi Hero of Dominaria, Ancestral Visions, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Ice Fang Quaddle. That's another one. Uro, Stoneforge Mystic, Dovin's Veto, Mystic Sanctuary, Shark Typhoon, Force of Negation, Archmage's Charm, Veil of Summer, Oko, which got banned, Opt, and we can also add Ice Fang Quaddle. So my question is for the control players: what else do you want? What else do you want? You don't need any more help. And control is like a pretty giant portion of the metagame right now. It's like number 2 with these Uro decks. I mean, they got so many cards. Fuck the Portent. You don't need Portent. You just pick up anything that you have right here. These are all good cards right here. Growth Spiral for those Simic versions. Yeah, it's completely unrecognizable. You don't even know. They don't even look the same whatsoever. So does control need any more help? No, they don't at all. Oh yeah, look at this. Wilderness Reclamation, Dead of Winter. Like, the tools that they have right now. The tools, people. Dead of Winter. Maybe control needs Ponder. I don't know if they use Blast Zone. Do any versions use Blast Zone? Oh, they got Field of the Dead too. Field of the Dead. That was a huge upgrade to help them against the Tron decks. Field of the Dead was that was like a huge staple that they just got. Field of the Dead. Without Field of the Dead, like, they would have a lot of trouble against Tron. I don't think enough decks play Nexus of Fate. You could add that to the. It's more of a Wilderness Reclamation card than a control card. Yeah, Gideon Jura is laughable. Like, look at what they used to play, like Gideon of the Trials. Does anyone remember when they played Jace, Architect of Thought? Like this card used to see play in control. I shit you not, that used to be a staple in control decks. Jace, Architect of Thought, and also what Elspeth, Sun's Champion. That was a fucking staple in this deck. You see this 6 mana Planeswalker that used to be a win condition, believe it or not. Oh, did I put Field of the Dead instead of Field of the Ruin? Whoops, that's not my mistake. Field of Ruin. I get them confused. Yeah, this is the right card. Oh yeah, Jace Vryn's Prodigy used to be like a control card. Merfolk Looter. This card used to be expensive. This card used to be the reason you'd even pack Origins. Oh yeah, but there are versions that do play Field of the Dead. Not all of them, but some do. But it was Field of Ruin that I was talking about. Remember when Control ran a win condition? So like, yeah, Control got so much shit. Mind Sculptor doesn't even see play as far as I can tell. Mind Sculptor does see play. Oh, reminds me of the other Planeswalkers, Narset, Parter of Veils. Because they're all like one-ofs in the control deck. You know, you have some Teferis, you have some Jace's Heroes, Narsets. Just jumped in. We building a throwback? No, we're not building a throwback. We are. We were asked if Portent could get reprinted in Modern Horizons 2 to help Control. And I'm giving the argument that Control already has all the help. I don't think there are archetypes out there more starving than Control right now. Control has so much, which is why they are spliced off into so many different colors. We have Simic Control, Teamer Control, Bant Control. We still do have Blue-White Control, although like you have to make a pretty good argument why you want to go Blue-White. We don't have Jeskai Control. Sorry, Jeskai players. We do have Sultai Control. So like they have so many things available to them that we do. Yeah, and the Elves and Merfolk players are crying. Like there are archetypes that seriously need help here. So Control doesn't need any more stuff. Death and Taxes could use more tools. Death and Taxes are getting some tools though. They got some good stuff in Modern Horizons, but they could definitely use tools as well. Anyway, Control is at the fucking bottom of the food chain in terms of like needing help. They don't need help. If anything, they could use a few more bans. Ban Plague Engineer, that would help. But Plague Engineer doesn't even see that much play right now. But its threat is always there because when you face it, it's like you just instantly lose. Grimducky, we're talking about what Control has received. That's going to be the title of this video. Like, Control doesn't need any more help or something like that. You know who needs help? Spirits needs help. You know what? I bet Wizards didn't know that Spirits needed help because 2 years ago, Spirits was a tier 1 deck, and now it's just gone. But Wizards would never have predicted that. I think Spirits players might have to wait an additional 2 years for support, or you might have to wait even longer if they take the Merfolk mentality. Double Plague Engineer is brutal, absolutely. I want more fringe archetypes to be viable more than I want existing decks to be bolstered by reprinted shit like Portent. But who knows what's going to happen. Plague Engineer is still the 10th most played card at the moment. I was just reading the complaints last night in the Blue White Discord. Okay, Grimducky, please lay it on us. What are they complaining about? What are the whiny Control players complaining about? Like, I agree that 3 or 4, I think about 4 years ago, Control players had a pretty good reason to complain because they literally were suffering, but they were just printed like a 15 Haymaker cards. Like Narset is a Haymaker, not Jace. Field of Ruin, maybe not Haymaker, but incredibly good main deckable staple that is playable against every single deck. Field of Dead can be a win condition. Dead of Winter, another board wipe, Wilderness Reclamation, and Growth Spiral, Icevine Quaddle. Opt, just upgrading their cantrips. Oko got banned, but whatever. Archmage's Charm, Force Negation, Shark Typhoon, Mystic Sanctuary. Like, these are all incredible upgrades to their deck. We don't even see Ancestral Visions being played anymore. We don't even see it being... They unbanned it, and now it's dead. What's the price of this card now? $3. Pretty good spec card, I think, actually. That's pretty cheap. $3.50 for this card? I think that's pretty cheap. Half was saying we never get anything, and the other half was saying we just got to Fairy. I don't know what to say. Some people have not been playing Magic for very long. They just don't know the history. They're too entitled. Number 1, wow, give us Counterspell. Number 2, wow, Cavernous Souls is busted. It's busted. We can't beat Cavernous Souls. Oh no. I guess I'm the reason that they feel like they need more cards. Ever since Jace the Mind Sculptor got unbanned, it failed to do much. They've been getting tons of powerful controlled cards every set. Well, the thing about Jace the Mind Sculptor is it got unbanned. Jace the Mind Sculptor, I think Jace the Mind Sculptor would have seen a lot of play, but it got unbanned months before they printed Teferi Hero of Dominaria. Months. And then this card just instantly replaced it. Like, it was clearly better. It was a way better win condition, way better on card advantage and resources because you get to untap lands. And the emblem was a literal win condition. Like, the win condition on Jace the Mind Sculptor is a joke. It takes forever to get to 12 loyalty, exile their deck, and then hope that they're lost from there. Whereas with Hero of Dominaria, your opponent will just fucking scoop it up if they have no permanents in play, and you're clearly drawing multiple cards a turn. They'll just scoop it up. Be right back. Buying 100 copies of Ancestral Vision per Nikachu's finance advice. Well, because the thing is, like, your cards like... Let's get... Where's... Ancestral Vision is still a powerful card. It's literally 0 mana for drawing 3 cards. And if the right deck comes up... Like, there are already a bunch of fringe decks playing with Ancestral Vision. And if they get upgrades to the point where they become tier 1, then everyone is going to need Ancestral Vision again. So it's a very good card. It's still a very, very good card. And it just doesn't... It's just not in a tier 1 deck right now. But the day that it gets added to a tier 1 deck again, or there's another card that can help enable playing it for free, it's gonna go like to like $15-ish. So the fact that it's $3.55 today, you never know when it's going to actually get enabled by another archetype. But it's just one of those cards. It's like, one day this is going to get an enabler, and then the price is going to go up. Yeah, they hate Cavern. Good! It's the point of undermining all those stupid counter spells. Control has so many tools. What they need: brainstorm, ponder, and preordain. They already have, like, everything. Literally everything. Yeah, Blue-Red As Foretold plays it. It's fine. But, like, the As Foretold deck is a fringe deck. But now let's say... so no one wants to buy into the deck. Now let's say As Foretold becomes tier 1. Because they got, like, one new card printed that really takes the deck over the top. Now all of a sudden everyone wants to buy all the pieces to it. We will do deck reviews, don't worry. Because it looks like I'm probably not going to be doing much streaming. Okay, well, let's get right into it. All right, so I'm sure everyone has... Well, if you haven't submitted your deck, go ! Deck review space the URL to your deck, plus leave any comments. I would love to know, is it a budget deck? What format you're playing? What do you need help against? And it would also help the community and myself give feedback to your archetype. The problem with Control is we don't understand when to let certain matchups go, like we don't need to win everything. That's absolutely right. You do have to let some stuff go. They also hate Veil of Summer. Can't forget that bad boy. Good. I'm really in the camp that Veil of Summer is fine. Like, it's not the it's good value, but it's not like you snap lose when it gets played. I would just say if you're playing a 1-for-1 game and you have no way of scaling your value, then it's backbreaking. But if you're playing cards like Colligan's Command and Croxa and Uro, then Veil of Summer is on the same power as all those other cards. Veil is fine if it didn't draw a card, but then it wouldn't see play. Then it's unplayable. Veil of Summer is like the card that helps keep up with all those other stupid card advantage cards. Like I don't think the metagame has gone to shit because Veil of Summer exists in the format. It's a good card. It's good, but it's good like Choke is good. I don't think Veil of Summer promotes unfair things. I mean, unless it's coming from blue and black. Yeah, because it's a good sideboard card. Why wouldn't you play it? But it's not like you can play. It's not like you can put this in your main deck. Well, I mean, I know some Storm players have tried, but in general, it's not like you can put this in your main deck and expect it to like overpower the metagame. Yeah, there we go. Veil is good like Thoughtseize is good, but it's the anti-Thoughtseize. It's a reactive card. It's purely reactive. There we go. Neoform's going to prove that it should be banned. If there's ever... Well, Neoform will just prove that it should be banned. I've seen lists with it, main deck, in combo decks. I've seen some versions of Storm play it. Some versions of Storm. The only card more than Veil is Bolt. Now that's a proactive card. Veil is just a very convenient sideboard hoser that any deck playing green can play. So it's a very good card, but I don't think it's that. I don't think, how do I put it? It's not oppressive. I mean, you can still play like red strategies and white strategies don't care. And then even then, when we talk about like blue and black, they have means of getting around it. It's not like your Plague Engineer gets hit by Veil of Summer. Veil is the reason Aethergust is the 4th most played card. I actually think Cavernous Souls is actually the reason Aethergust is the 4th most played card. And personally, I like Aethergust because I can bounce permanents, which is something I can't do with most of my counterspells. And frankly, that's actually useful in the prowess metagame when a creature gets really big. But I think I don't know if Veil is actually the definitive reason why Aethergust is the most played card after it. There's a lot of Titan decks playing with Cavernous Souls, and I think that's contributing to a lot of reason why Aethergust is played. Veil of Summer is definitely annoying. Veil is basically the sugary bullshit that Starbucks pushes on soccer moms. Oh, yeah. So did everyone submit their deck? It's like nobody... Everyone just submits their deck in the morning, basically. And maybe they even leave. White is the only color to neither have or be hit by Gust and Veil. There you go. You heard it from the Death and Taxes master himself. Learn Death and Taxes, play Death and Taxes. You aren't going to get hit by any of the sideboard cards. There are no sideboard cards against Death and Taxes. Smooth sailing. And then as Merfolk players, we actually get hit by both of these things. They Veil of Summer my counter spells. They Veil of Summer my Harbinger of the Tides or Merfolk Trickster or Tidebinder Mage. They Veil of Summer... No, they Veil of Summer, all those things. Then I never thought that Aethergust would get played against me, but then they bounced or they put my Merfolk Mistbinder on top of my deck. So I never thought that would be possible, but so like we actually get hit by both those. For some reason, Merfolk still gets nailed, and we get hit by Boil and Choke. We have to deal with all these cards in addition to being an underpowered deck. Unbelievable. And we still win. We still win anyway. Bring it on. Bring on the Plague Engineers. Bring on all your garbage. We're ready. We're absolutely ready. And we're ready for Decklist review. All right. Tsar Vlad 13 Decklist has been chosen. Dimir list that aims to capitalize on Lurrus, Bauble, and Unearth to keep threats on the table and cards in hand. Not sure what the sideboard should be. See cards in considering. I will do that. Anyway, that was a great discussion today. Talked about a lot of stuff. Let me get rid of this. And ta-da! All right. Oh, it's a Merfolk deck. Dimir Luris Folk. So you have 2 Coral Helm Commander, 4 Lord of Atlantis, 4 Master of the Pearl Trident, 4 Merfolk Trickster, 4 Silver Gill Adept, 4 Unearth, 2 Echoing Truth, 4 Fatal Push. And I understand why you have Echoing Truth. 4 Fatal Push, 4 Ether Vial, 4 Mishra's Bauble, 4 Spreading Seas. Okay, so so first off, I want to have a few more Merfolk in this deck. You actually are very low on Merfolk. Like you don't even have 20, and I think 20 is pretty low. And I think a good safe cut would just be 2 Unearths, because if you fled out on Unearth, it's actually pretty bad because you have nothing to like bring back from the graveyard. And sure, you can cycle it, but ideally you should be spending your mana in Modern casting creatures or doing something. So I think you should take out 2 Unearth, add 2 more Coral Helm Commander. I think that's a perfectly fine include here. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I think we should replace Echoing Truth with Into the Royal. Like, I actually think that this card is probably better. Let's be serious here. 95% of the time, you're just bouncing 1-for-1 something. You're not bouncing multiple permanents with Echoing Truth. Whereas with Into the Royal, you have the opportunity to bounce a non-land permanent, but if you have enough mana, you can draw a card off of it. I like you know what? Like I said, I've said a million times, I hate this card. I hate this card. This card is terrible. It's because it's this 1-for-1 garbage is so bad. And actually, Werebear Activist also said, yeah, repeal is also an option for the bounce slot, especially since it will get under the Luris thing. So if you want Into the Royal, or repeal is also a fine card. I'm kind of trying to think, is it well positioned right now? Repeal is really good when there's a lot of 0 mana cards in the format. Like, for example, if your opponent plays Stoneforge Mystic, puts Batterskull on the battlefield, 1 blue, repeal the Germ token because it has converted mana cost 0. Gets bounced to their hand. You just draw a card. Really huge tempo play. Yes, they're the same card. Into the Royal and Blink of an Eye are identical. They're just duplicates. So I honestly would replace this with one of those because I'm fed up with Echoing Truth. I've said it's shit for years. It's still shit. I'm done with this card. There's so many different cards that do similar things but better. So I'd be much more into the Royal or Blink of an Eye or repeal. And Blink of an Eye, if you like the name more. Now I'm nitpicking here. And it's the same thing. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand if the spell was kicked to draw a card. Mishra's Bauble, if you want to do that in a Luris deck, that's fine. 2 Cavern of Souls, 4 Dark Slick Shores, 2 Mutavault, 2 Polluted Delta, 2 Waterlog Grove. Oh yeah, you're playing black, so you do need the thoughts. If you're playing black, you do need the black mana. It's too bad we don't have the Dimir land yet. You know what? Maybe I would just cut the Waterlog Grove. Because you're taking too much damage. Right now in this metagame, it's not favorable to be taking damage. And I might add... there's no more black lands you can use. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you know what? Actually, I want you to be playing more black mana sources. Add 2 more Polluted Delta instead of the Waterlog Grove. It would be much better. M. Hayashi says in his videos that his favorite use is to 2-for-1 his opponents by returning his permanents in response to removal, which seems relevant right now. Yeah, you always could do that. You can absolutely do that. Like repeal your own stuff to your hand, draw a card, if you have the mana. But it only works against like slow grindy decks. So I don't think you have enough black mana sources to support things like Thoughtseize. You probably have enough for Nihil Spellbomb because you don't need to pay the black. So I would replace the 2 Waterlog Groves with 2 more Polluted Deltas or 2 more Watery Graves or some hedge against both of them. That would be fine. 2 Aether Gust for Force Negation, the Luris, 4 Nihil Spellbomb, 4 Thoughtseize. I think this is okay for the most. I will say I found Thoughtseize to be clunky in an Aether Vial deck because if you have Aether Vial turn 1, then you want to play the Aether Vial. But if you play the Aether Vial, then you're not playing Thoughtseize. And then on turn 2, when you have 2 mana, you still don't want to play Thoughtseize because you want to play creatures. You can play Thoughtseize, but it's awkward. That being said, you can play it if you want to. Okay, so considering Harbinger of the Tides, Dismember, Chalice of the Void, Soul Guide Lantern. I think Chalice is good, but you'd have to dump I think you just dump the Thoughtseize if you play Chalice, because Thoughtseize is like an anti-combo card, and so is, for the most part, Chalice of the Void. Although I think you'll do better against Burn if you have Chalice of the Void versus Thoughtseize, because this only takes damage. You might have a bad Burn matchup given this list. But I hope that was useful feedback. And for the most part, the rest of the deck is fine if you want to do it like this. But I think for you to consistently cast things, I mean, you have the plus side of cycling this, of course, but if you want to be casting Unearth, casting Fatal Push, we should go heavier on the black sources. So remove Waterlogged Grove for some more black sources. Basic Land Shark, good morning. Just got here. I'm late. Feels amazing, man. Oh, it's all good. No one's ever late for the blue-black pathway. What is the pathway? Which one is it? We only have half the pathways, right? We don't even have a blue-green one yet. The problem with maybe the pathway is fine. I haven't play tested it, but I'd be concerned that once I put it on black, then I would be screwed for getting blue. River of Tears. You know what? I think River of Tears is a bit situational. It's like a very river, not Rivers of Tears. River of Tears. I know the card. Add blue to your mana pool. If you played a land this turn, add black to your mana pool instead. Like, but if this is like one of your first cards, like let's say this is the land I have to play for the turn. It enters the battlefield, and then I can't tap it for blue. Oh, the other lands? Yeah, they don't come into play tapped. Like, if there's a spell attached to it, it comes into play tapped, but otherwise it doesn't. But they're not basics. You know, they're not islands and swamps. They are Blood Moon vulnerable. So maybe this is a possibility. I would just be concerned that it's clunky. I don't know if they're clunky. Oh yeah, they'd be worse than Gates. Yeah, that's true. If they came into play tap, they'd be just rendered completely unplayable. But anyway, I hope that was some useful feedback, and good luck with the Dimir Lurrus deck. And that, I think we're going to see more Dimir versions of Merfolk when we get the Allied Horizon land. I think that's going to be a huge plus to the archetype the moment we get the Allied Horizon land. Okay, deck review. Pick. Okay, Balada's deck list has been chosen. Jeskai Pauper, need to counter spells and deal damage. Need Bolt and counterspell deck for a family member as a Christmas gift. Is Jeskai control even a thing in Pauper? So now I'm not familiar with the Pauper metagame, so I'm going to definitely need to get help from... I'm going to definitely ask the audience for some support here. I mean, one funny thing about like Pauper is that you look at some of these decks and they have like all these busted cards. I mean, Delver looked menacing back in the day. Look, you can play Brainstorm. Of course, you don't have many fetches. Is there any way to fetch? You have Evolving Wilds. So you have a really crappy fetch land. Brainstorm, Counterspell. Emerge unscathed. Target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Seems pretty bad. Fire and Ice is a very good card. Lightning Bolt is a good card, but I don't know how well it interacts with the format as a whole. Manamorphose, was that ever a common? I'm just guessing it was. Scred is a good card. Now that will scale and probably kill anything. Preordain is good. Ash Barrens. It's funny. They used to have. They used to have Arkham's Astrolabe in this format. Thriving Isles enters the battlefield tapped. As Thriving Isles enters the battlefield, choose a color other than blue. Add blue or 1 mana of the chosen color. Is that a new card? What's that set symbol? Is that a new card? And the art is beautiful. It's very beautiful. Ugh, it's a blue card, too. Delver of Secrets, Kiln Fiend. Oh, this is not like Jeskai. This is like Jeskai Delver. Okay, all of a sudden, all these card choices make a lot of sense to me, and it looks great. I was like, what is the win condition in this deck? Why would I play Emerge Unscathed? But it makes more sense right now. You get to play with Delver and Kiln Fiend and Seeker of the Way, which gets lifelink and prowess. Kiln Fiend, of course, can be like a massive one-shot kill. Oh, it's from Jumpstart? Okay. So it's not, it never came out in standard. Good morning, a redhead kid YouTube. Jeskai is very good in Pauper. But this is Jeskai Delver. You know, when you tell me Jeskai, I feel like it's something else. Blue Elemental Blast, Echoing Truth. I think there's more reason to have Echoing Truth, right? Because there's a Storm deck that plays Empty the Warrens. What else? You might want to bounce multiple well, you're playing Delver yourself, so that's not really that great. Just out of curiosity, what card, like what archetypes get nailed by Echoing Truth? Like you're gonna hit doubles of cards. Because my statement against Echoing Truth travels through all formats. It's you know, it's card disadvantage is the problem. It's card disadvantage. 8 mana Eldrazi. Like what? But why Echoing Truth over Into the Royal? Because this is the same thing, but I can draw a card if I have extra mana. I can tell you from like years of experience, I don't bounce more than one thing at once with Echoing Truth very much. It happens, but not that often. And I think I would very often hit the kicker part of this way more often than I'll bounce 2 things at once. And I think drawing that extra card is more valuable in the grand scheme of things. Oh, is Apostles... Like, I was wondering about that. Siege Sensei says they use Apostles' Blessing. So why not Apostles' Blessing instead of the Emerge Unscathed? Where is Apostles' Blessing? Oops. I mean, this costs life. Maybe that's important. Emerge has Rebound. Oh yeah, that's true. Why not? Why not Rebound? Although that's a bit awkward. But I guess, hold on. What does it get? It gives protection. Target creature you control gains protection of the color of your choice until end of turn. So this is a way of getting through creatures, and you can do this over multiple turns. And also the prowess. Yeah, okay, I get it. You get to use like you'll get a second trigger off of Kiln Fiend. You get a second trigger off of Secro of the Way. That makes sense to me. Which matters for the prowess, yes. But I didn't hear any... Can anyone defend Echoing Truth? Like, what... Against what archetype in Pauper that you need to bounce multiple spells? Honest question. Like, it's hard. It's hard in Magic to bounce, like, 2 of the same spell. And this deck is already playing with a lot of removal. So that's... I mean, and this really isn't about just this list. I'm just having a philosophical debate about Echoing Truth versus Into the Royal at any moment. Yeah, I know a lot of people say token. Are there enough tokens? There might. I don't play Pauper. That's the problem. I don't play Pauper. It's not using mutagenic growth. It's more of a Delver deck than a prowess deck. I can see where it's going here. It's more Delver-like than prowess. I'm surprised there's not more fire and ices, but like I'm not gonna complain about the numbers. I don't actually play the format to know. Like I like the card. The card is great, very good card. But and I'm sure pending the metagame, you could go more on fire and ice and less. So this is more Delver style than anything. So we got Electrickery. Oh, you have the other 2 fire and ice in the sideboard at the very least. 2 mana leak, prismatic strands, prevent damage to sources. I think this is a great deck, really. I think this is a really good deck. I don't have no idea what you need Relic for. Is there a graveyard archetype? Oh, there's other Delver decks that use the graveyard, right? There's like Dimir or Grixis Delver because they use Gurmag Angler. Is there a link for this list? Hold on, let me... Look at that. People like the list. I'm going to copy and paste it. Jeskai Delver. If you like the list, go for it. Osage Sensei says there's Pauper Reanimator. That's disgusting. I have no feedback. I mean, the list is really clean. I'm just going to trust that Brainstorm is not the be-all, end-all in the format, which is why you have only 3. You only have 2 shuffle effects, so that's fine. This deck could use Mutagenic Growth and Tethmos High Priest. I think the idea is that they're more of a Delver deck than they are a Prowess deck. I think we can flip it. Oops, I don't want to go anywhere. No! Oh, the fear. This is your brain on Delver. If you play Delver long enough, you become this person. All right, I have nothing. I can't. The deck is clean. The deck is pretty clean overall. The only weird thing is like the 3 brainstorms. Like maybe if I was a more hardcore Pauper player, I might say Brainstorm should be a 4 of, but I really can't say so. Wait, you should have 6 shuffle effects? Is that what people are saying? There's 2 shuffle effects in this. Oh, the basic land cycling is also a shuffle effect. You're right. So, hold on. For anyone who plays Pauper, is 3 Brainstorm fine? Or is this a mandatory 4 of? Are you insane to not play the 4th Brainstorm? You can give them a foil You can give them a foil Delver. I don't think there's anything else to add here. Nah, Preordain is better. Ash Barons. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant BS, like bullshit. No, Brainstorm is rarely a 4 of in Pauper. Okay. Yeah, this is your brain on Delver. Okay, so this is it. Great, solid list. I think your friend is going to have a great Christmas list. This is a gift. I'm trying to make it a Jeskai deck that has counterspells, Lightning Bolt, and a decent creature package for a family member. Go for it. Nice list. And hopefully it's going to serve them very well and get them into Magic. All right, good luck with it. Let's get on to the next deck. Deck review pick. The deck was so good, people are asking for the link. Decklist bots decklist has been chosen. Oh my god. What do we have here? Memnite Brother Folk by Anonymous. Okay, let's see if they've accurately created my brother's deck. Or I guess this is like the final version of like my brother's archetype. Oh, you know what? My brother, okay, first off, my brother would say you have too few cards in your deck at this moment. Like you're wasting slots. So we got 4 Memnite. It's free. It's free, people. You can have as many Memnites as you want in your deck. Ornithopter, again, free. So what my brother would say is you should already have a 60-card deck, and then you should be going to 68 cards in the main deck. Just for old 0-mana spells should be going over 60 cards. Like first you pack then this would be like the 72nd card because it is free. So we have Lord of Atlantis, Metallic Mimic, Adaptive Automaton, and Emery, Lurker of the Loch. Can't find Lord of Atlantis, but I guess you can like get everything else. Mishra's Bauble, Cranial. This is like, I don't know, this is like the final form of what my brother might play if he even knew some of these cards existed. Smuggler's Copter, all that glitters. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. You have Self-Spreading Seas, of course. Yeah, if lands are free too, but it's not a spell. I don't know if he counts them as that. Darksteel Citadel, 8 Island, 2 Plains, Seachrome Coast, and Spire of Industry. There's actually some thought put into this deck. Where's my brother to see this thing? Path to Exile, Relic of Progenitus, Ether Gust, Force Negation. I don't know what my brother has in his sideboard. You know, truth be told, he's a Dimir player. Like, he plays Dimir Merfolk. Like, he plays Dimir with Memnite and Ornithopter in the deck. And he screenshots me every single time that, like, Memnite wins the game. And he'll say, look, Ornithopter blocked the flyer that I needed to help me win the game the next turn. How do we even win in this deck? We just, like, suit up a Lord of Atlantis with Cranial Plating or something? Wait, are the Lords the... Yeah, I know. Emery is going to get in the red zone, and we're going to suit her up with cranial plating. Anyway, this is a good laugh. Let's move on. Thanks for submitting this troll list. Deck review. Pick. Shadow says that deck would be better without the lords. Oh, you think? Okay, Dire Wolf's deck list has been chosen. Modern, need help with the sideboard. We've got an elf deck. So, like, I've seen elf decks. Actually, for the most part, I see elf decks with a pretty diverse... You got, like, a standard elf deck, right? Are you, like, maxing out on the 1-drops? Heritage Druid, Llanowar Elves... I can't remember. Isn't there another green... Like, it's like there's a copy of Llanowar Elves out there, but it's not Arbor Elf. I guess it doesn't matter in this deck. You literally have only 17 forests. Boreal Druid? Is that it? No, this is not an exact copy. This adds colorless mana. It's not even close. I thought there was another one that they use. Whatever. It's not important. This list only plays forests, so Arbor Elf will work just the same. Assuming their one land doesn't get spreading seized. Mystic Elf. Elvish Mystic. This actually is might be a slight upgrade. It is an upgrade. Or is it? Can you enchant your forest somehow? So I think Elvish Mystic is actually... I know you want advice for the sideboard, but I'll tell you why. If you're on a one land, the Spreading Seas is actually gaining in popularity. And if they go like turn 1 island, you go turn 1 Arbor Elf with the intention of untapping your forest, and then they go turn 2 Spreading Seas your 1 forest, because you're not running many forests. You're only having 17, which like many elf decks do. Then you can't add green mana next turn with Arbor Elf, and you're stuck at no mana because you've got this Arbor Elf. Better upgrade is Elvish Mystic. It does exactly what you want it to do. Or is there a reason for the Arbor Elf? I don't think so. Oh, Misha's Sweatshop. I think you have to put like the HTTP or something like that, or www dot. Okay, so you got Mystic Sanctuary. That's not bad. You could even go up on this. Like Mystic Shaper Sanctuary is actually just a beating for any deck that is trying to remove your creatures 1 for 1. I think that's very strong. Veil of Summer, very strong. You could probably even go up on Collector Oof. Now is not too bad of a time. Tron is on the way up, and yeah, Tron is on the rise. And Collector Oof is just a really good way of shutting down most of the game, their game plan. Damping Sphere is good. Sorcerer's Spyglass is fine. 3 Choke, 3 Reclamation Sage. Honestly, these are all good. Like, you're asking about the sideboard. I think these are all really good cards. These are great cards. There's not really that much that you want. Well, I don't know. Like, Reclamation Sage is still good because you need to beat Ensnaring Bridge. Well, they're not missing Nettle Sentinel. They're just not going that direction, like that combo. I think this is like a Lord heavy list. They're going Elvish Clan Caller, Archdruid, Champion, and Imperious Perfect. So they're... And by the way, I can respect that. I can respect that in the metagame right now because of Plague Engineer. You know, like Lord Magica said earlier, Plague Engineer is the number 10 version. Like the top 10 is one of the top 10 cards being played in Modern right now. And going heavier on Lords and going with a beatdown plan is more valuable than going the combo route with Heritage Druid. Because Heritage Druid plus, you know, what's it called? Nettle Sentinel is like the mana combo that you use to then like just try to combo off. But I can totally respect going down like a more Lord route and just spewing a bunch of Lords on the battlefield. Surprised you don't have the fourth collected company. I actually think that I wouldn't leave home without it. And that in itself is like a good way of like defeating or trying to get through all the removal that you're trying to get through. Good morning, Lord Gage. Stay safe. Well, here's a question if you're around. Sorcerer's Spyglass, what is this for? What are you trying to lock? What are you trying to prevent? I always see these Sorcerer's Spyglass cards. But I have no idea exactly what it's for. Like, what are you trying to prevent? Because this could be space for maybe the third Shaper Sanctuary, the second Collector Oof. I mean, I know it's Pithing Needle, but like, what are you trying to Pithing Needle? What are you trying to Pithing Needle that you can't deal with the rest of the sideboard anyway? Walking Ballista? I mean, you have Collector Oof for that. And also, you just have Lords. And also, you've got Shaper Sanctuary. So, like, if you have Shaper Sanctuary out and that Ballista wants to kill your creatures, you're drawing a card every single time that they activate it. Ugin's not a bad name, but like, I think ideally against Ugin decks, you have to prevent the Ugin from coming. Like, let's be serious. If your opponent has Tron, you're probably dead anyway. I mean, if you don't die to the Ugin, you're going to die to something else. And I would like to think that Damping Sphere and then killing your opponent as quickly as possible is going to be the route to victory there. And also Reclamation Sage interacting with the artifacts. I would dump this. I don't like you need to like there's got to be like a really good range of really heavy hitting cards to warrant playing a Sorcerer's Spyglass in the deck. Just trying to... Where was the... Trying to figure out whose list this was. Oh, this was Direwolf's. So Direwolf, can you give me an answer to the... If you don't have an answer to Sorcerer's Spyglass, I would just... I'd just replace it with something else. Like, just fill in the cracks here with Shaper Sanctuary, another Collector Oof, and hopefully that's going to be good enough. And also deal with this damn thing. And walkers, like, just... And planeswalkers, what? Like, here's my problem. You got to play this on turn... So you play this on turn 2, and you see Teferi Time Reveler and Jace the Mind Sculptor and whatever. So you're gonna play it on like Teferi Time Reveler. I think a lot of these planeswalkers, you just want to like against a lot of these decks, you just want to grind them out with like Veil of Summer and Shaper Sanctuary, and you just go aggro. You're not really good at the control plan. You want to go like aggro / combo. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't mind Sorcerer's Spyglass against Ugin. That makes some sense to me. But I think the other tools in the deck are better against those decks. That's just what I'm saying. I mean, let's say you bring this in against Planeswalkers. Maybe that should be more chokes then, because you'll just kill the chokes. Against Wrenn and 6? You might sort of... Well... If you have Shaper Sanctuary out, like again, if you have Shaper Sanctuary out, you draw a card every single turn that they want to snipe off a creature. So the point is your gas is continuous for forever. And then if you start slamming some, and you have a pretty good game actually against Wrenn and 6 because you're playing with a lot of Lords in your deck. And I'd suggest you probably should have the last collected company. What is Elvish Promenade? Put a 1/1 green elf creature token into play for each elf you control. You know, I'm not high on that. That's a win more card. I'm 2 thumbs down on this card. I would just play Collected Company like another collected company. This might be a budget list, which is why you're not running it. Actually, Phyrexian Revoker, it would be an upgrade to Sorcerer. I think would be an upgrade to Sorcerer's Spyglass. Maybe not against specifically Wrenn and 6. But again, like Freda's Wrenn and 6, Shaper Sanctuary. They have to destroy Shaper Sanctuary or they're dead. Because like everything they play, you're going to draw a card off of it. And also keep remembering it keeps minusing on the Wrenn and 6, so it can't keep sniping things for forever. Anyway, those are my opinions. I'm just curious what does an elf deck do in Modern? Modern elves, MTG Goldfish. Let's just look up a random list. This is in 2019, so this is a year ago. So they have Reclamation Sage, they have Dismember, Weather the Storm, Collector Roof, Veil of Summer, Grafdigger's Cage. But they also are not trying to beat what's it called? Planeswalkers. Is there another one we could look at? This is 5 days ago. Of course, this is like any random person submitting. Oh no, this is a 5-0 deck. Sideboard, Damping Sphere, Yixlid Jailer, Dismember, Vivian, Champion of Wilds, Leyline of Vitality. But again, they're not that focused on the Planeswalkers. They're just gonna deal with it. There's a Planeswalker in front of them, just try to beat it. So yeah, down on the well, let's just quickly. I know you wanted more feedback on the sideboard, but I would replace Sorcerer's Spyglass with another Shaper Sanctuary and a Collector Oof. And I'd definitely put the 4th collected company, and I would replace this with like anything else. I'm not in love with this card. This is 4 mana to double your creatures. Sort of. You might as well play something else. You want to play Throne of God's Pharaoh, go for it. This probably is like a win more card, but whatever. You want that spice, go for it. And just replace Arbor Elf with Elvish Mystic, and you won't be weak to situational spreading seas. All right, thank you for submitting the list. Hope that was some useful feedback. Deck review pick, we have got MC Derp's deck list has been chosen. Looking for any recommendations in improving the control matchup. So looks like you already got some results. You got published. If this is your list, congratulations. It's this one, right? The Creatures Toolbox one? Cavalier of... Why can't they give us a preview? Oops, sorry. So we've got... What is this deck? 40 Birds of Paradise, Cavalier of Night, Elves of Deep Shadow, Geralf's Messenger, Gilded Goose, 1 Llanowar Elves. Why 1 of these? And why 1 Elves of Deep Shadow? I guess, like... Okay, whatever. Let's continue. 1 Reclamation Sage, 1 Scavenging Ooze, 4 Strangleroot Geist, 4 Wall of Roots, Yawgmoth, Young Wolf, Zulaport Cutthroat. Do we got Boss MTG in the house? Is Boss MTG here? He likes watching streams. I've seen him around in other streams. Because it was really Tom Ross who brought this deck to prominence, if I remember correctly. Either he helped build the deck or he endorsed it to a very high degree. Court of Calling for Eldritch Evolution. What is the size? I still don't understand some of these 1-ofs. Like, why not go all in on Gilded Goose? Or why not have a 2nd Elves of Deep Shadow? Lifelink. When Cavalier of Nights enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target creature an opponent controls. When it dies, return target creature card with convert mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's a lot of value. Oh, so you just need 1? Deep Shadow is a black source you can chord for. One thing's interesting is you have trouble against control. Why? I mean, you got Geralf's Messenger. I mean, okay, certainly this is not everything, but I mean, there's a lot of like relatively good control cards in here. I mean, you even have Scavenging Ooze to help eat up their graveyard so they can't even get Uro online. So maybe is there more Scavenging Oozes in the sideboard? I know this deck definitely wants to be on that sort of toolbox route, like a little one-ofs of everything. One Fatal Push is a bit weird. Kitchen Finks, Office of Baloth, Revoker, one Thoughtseize. I mean, I think especially okay, I can tell you from experience that control at the moment is just folding to graveyard hate to a very large degree. So if you can attack their graveyard, it's very hard for them to actually do anything, because if they can't start recycling Uro or recycling their cards with Mystic Sanctuary, that they don't do anything. They literally do nothing. The deck will just eventually one for one all their spells, run out of cards in hand, and then die. So one way you can, I mean, you can either do this with some better. I mean, do you have any art? Like, do you have any graveyard removal? You have not. You have one Ashiok for graveyard hate, and you have one Scavenging Ooze. And one thing you could do is maybe up the number of unless it's Shark Blade. Well, if it's Stone Blade, I would put Stone Blade. It's like it's got control elements, but it's more Stone Blade than control. Path and just general counterspells can be rough. Do you have any way of getting around that? I mean, sometimes you just have to fight through the counterspells. You have to have a better sideboard strategy and be maybe a little bit more patient with your Veil of Summers. Like, don't play don't play your best creature into their counterspells unless you have the mana to support it with Veil of Summer. I imagine the matchup is like not amazing. You're playing so much, but you also have Court of Calling, which I think is also good in the control matchup because it gives you the ability to play spells at the end of your opponent's turn. Although Eldritch Evolution, like I don't know how these decks feel about this, but I mean this could be a huge liability because you potentially sacrifice something you don't want to sacrifice to go find something else. And ideally, you force your opponent to deal with the young wolf. It dies, and then everything is good again. And then it comes back as a 2/2 creature. Although maybe it's too small as a 1/1. Maybe a Thoughtseize Duress package? Maybe, but like still, again, their graveyard is filling up, and Uro comes out and comes back. So, I mean, my impression is that there should be more Scavenging Oozes. That will help. Second, I don't know how you're sideboarding. Just had a question. Is this your published list, or is this just the list, a list that you're running right now? Just out of curiosity. Thrun might be okay. Thrun the Last Troll. Can't be countered. Can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and you can regenerate it. Solid anti-Jund, anti-control card. But my guess is, my guess is you could probably just sideboard better. Like, I don't see any reason why this deck should be terrible. Although I don't know how well this deck runs when you start setting out some of the mana dorks, because that's definitely something I would do. I would take out the mana dorks and play a much more patient, grindy game. I might side in almost everything. Arasta, reach whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Like, I would side in every impactful creature, basically. Because you would lose playing mana dorks. Like, if you have too much mana, they can just ignore it. Like, you play Birds of Paradise on turn 1, they'll be like, okay, I don't care. Although there's not that many, they don't play that many sweepers right now, do they? Stuff like Thrun is less good than it was since they already bring in Gust versus you. That's true. That's true. They're going to bring in Aether Gust, and just deal with it that way. You can bring in Ashiok. I would bring in Assassin's Trophy because you can blow up their Mystic Sanctuary if they try to bounce it with Cryptic Command. Collective Brutality seems fine. Like, at least look at their hand. Fatal Push is not fine. Kitchen Finks is good. Obstinate Bailout is good. Revoker is good. Thoughtseize is fine. And 3, Veil of Summer. I have the feeling I would just bring in like almost everything. I would and just play like a black-green rock-ish deck with a bunch of creatures. And I would take out the Eldritch Evolutions, the Birds of Paradise. I would just say screw the combo, or like maybe the Wall of Roots, because like Wall of Roots is like useless, right? Maybe we keep Eldritch Evolution. Like, how many cards am I bringing in? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe 8. Probably not. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, minus Evolution, Birds of Paradise, Wall of Roots, and I would just play the rest as is. Oh, that's a really good point. Choke would be very good against them if you need some help in this matchup. Definitely, you could put in 2 chokes because like you're a green deck and they're very heavy on blue. They'll just get crushed the moment they tap out for anything. So you try to play at the end of their turn. You like Court of Calling for something. I mean, you need to have enough mana and play for this. If they counterspell it, you play choke, they're dead. That's it. They're dead. GG. Good luck dealing with everything else after this. I think that's how I would do it. I don't know exactly. Like, I'm looking at it from an attrition-based perspective. There might be a better combo perspective where you can like, you want turn 1 Birds of Paradise to get your turn 2 choke onto the battlefield, like turn 2 choke in play. But from my perspective, if I were to be playing this combo deck against a control deck and I was having trouble, I would just make it as threat dense and as interactive as possible, and I just get rid of all the dead weight, like Wall of Roots, Birds of Paradise, and the 2-for-1 machine called Eldritch Evolution, because if they counterspell it, then you generally lost value, even though you probably sacrifice something like Young Wolf. Anyway, that's how I would do it. How other players do it, I have no idea. But again, what has been recommended, Choke is a very good card, and you could even up your Veil of Summers if necessary. I hope that was useful. I hope that was useful feedback, and hopefully you are the one who is going to go 5-0 next on Magic the Gathering Online. All right, so that's it for Coffee and MTG. I am going to look into streaming today, but there might be Magic the Gathering Online downtime, so we might not have a stream until much later. But until then, well, anyway, I'll look right into it. But for everyone watching on YouTube, this is going to be it for Coffee and MTG. Thank you very much, everyone who showed up today, watched, and we had a lot of fun. We discussed decks and looked into them. A lot of interesting stuff. Some troll decks. But my brother made a troll deck and basically plays it in real life, so maybe we consider that a real deck. So anyway, thank you very much for everyone for joining me for another cup of coffee, and I will see you at the next cup. Take care, and I'll see you next time.